I have no friends. But I'm fine. I'm JQ. 2 years ago, to save money, I left Shenzhen and moved here to Huizhou, into this old apartment complex. No friends, low income. Today, I want to share something with you. It's a story from these past few years, about me and my friends. It's not something I'd ever tell my parents. And it's definitely not something I'd ever post on social media in China. It's Sunday today. With the time difference from the US, I woke up just after 6 to watch this show. Can you guess what I'm watching? Do you have a show you love enough to wake up early or stay up late for? I've been watching it by myself for 10 years now. It's the only thing that hasn't changed all this time, even though so much else in my life has. In 2016, I went to Shenzhen with big dreams. I was lucky. I landed a job at what was then China's largest industrial design company and became a brand manager. For 2 years, I gave everything to my job. Waking up at 7 a.m. squeezing onto the subway, rushing to catch the last train home by 11 p.m. My career was on track, but I felt deeply lonely, and life started to feel meaningless. When my boss offered to promote me to CMO, I decided it was time to truly live for myself while I was still young. I quit. In 2018, I started my own business, developing and running a 3D photo album app. I had to attend some business networking events, where I've met some nice friends. And friends introduced me to more friends, and soon I had a large social circle. They were very generous, loved hosting alcohol-fueled dinner parties, wore luxury brands, and smoked cigars. To fit in, I did the same. What struck me most was a friend I'd known for only 2 months who invited me to a party he was hosting. When introducing me, he said I was one of his best friends, and I was incredibly flattered. But what he said next made me uncomfortable. JQ is too humble. Actually, his company is among the top 10 in China in the 3D photo app field. Everyone raised their glasses to toast me, saying things like, "Wow, let's connect. We should get to know each other and keep in touch." I smiled awkwardly, downed a glass of whiskey, and felt completely at a loss for words. Yes, my business was doing well, but it was just a startup. Where did he get the idea that it was top 10 in China? He told such a big lie, and I had to find a way to act natural and play along. Week after week, one friend hosted a party, then another. The more people I met, the more I noticed how exaggerated their words were. Many lies were so obvious, even I could see through them, and as successful wealthy individuals, how could they not notice? But they never called each other out. It was as if they were all performing in a play. Honestly, I didn't enjoy it. More than that, I started dreading those parties deep down. But I could never bring myself to turn down their enthusiastic invitations. And sometimes, I'd host them in return. And just like that, a whole year went by. Then one day, after a party, I woke up the next morning with severe stomach pain. I went to the hospital for a checkup, and was diagnosed with gastric erosion, high blood lipids, and high blood pressure. To decline their party invitations without offending them, I showed them my medical report and said, "I'm really sorry. I need to focus on my health for a while. I'll join you again once I'm better." After that, I drastically reduced my party attendance. In 2019, I got a dog. Since I spent a lot of my time with my dog, I started wearing comfortable and affordable clothes, things I didn't mind getting dirty or damaged. Just before the May Day holiday that year, the same friend suggested we get together, emphasizing that it would be mostly about food, not drinking, and that he wanted to introduce me to some new people. That day, I went straight to the party without going home to change. When I arrived, I found everyone drinking as usual. I didn't smoke, didn't drink, and was dressed in clothes worth less than 300 yuan, about $45. My friend was cold to me the entire time, as if he regretted inviting me. At one point, a friend next to him whispered, but loud enough for everyone to hear, "Who's the guy not drinking? Is he your driver?" My friend didn't answer, just smiled and said, "Come on, let's toast everyone." At that moment, I realized we are not friends. I cut ties with most of the friends I'd made over the past year. Later, in 2020, the pandemic hit. Then China's economy took a sharp downturn. My income plunged. To make matters worse, I was scammed by someone I'd trusted for 20 years. That person was my university classmate and my business partner. He drained my years of hard-earned savings. After 4 more years of desperately trying different jobs, the stress turned my hair noticeably gray. Yet I still couldn't earn enough to afford life in Shenzhen. The economy kept weakening, companies were shrinking, and even young people were losing their jobs. At nearly 40, I no longer had a place here in this city built for youth. In the end, I had no choice but to move to Huizhou. My business failed, my career collapsed, and after leaving Shenzhen, I noticed that the few friends I had left gradually drifted away. At Christmas and New Year's, I sent them greetings, but only a few replied, fewer than the year before. Now I finally understand. When you just want to be yourself and value your authenticity, those who don't appreciate you for who you are aren't your friends. And those who distance themselves when you lose your status or belongings aren't your friends either. Some people spend time with you not because they like who you are, but because you happen to match their interests and can enhance their social status. Some stay in touch not because of deep conversations or emotional connections, but because they think they might need you someday, or your social resources. Of course, I do have real friends. 2 I've known for over 20 years. We're honest and trusting with each other, and we talk openly about our problems and feelings. But now they both have kids, and in this tough economy, they're just focused on surviving. We barely have time to meet or have long talks anymore. We only saw each other once last year. Now I don't have friends around me, but I feel freer and healthier. I still drink whiskey a few times a year, not because I have to, but only when I'm genuinely happy, and just 1 or 2 glasses of the affordable kind. The clothes I wear every day are cheap, but incredibly comfortable. Sometimes financial struggles suddenly make me anxious, and occasionally I feel lonely. But compared to the suffocating feeling at those dinner parties back in 2018, when I was surrounded by those so-called friends, I'm much happier now. Do you have real friends around you? What's your take on making friends? Here's what I've come to realize. Real friends aren't something you can just find. They come when they're meant to. If you're lucky enough to meet one, cherish that connection, and give your sincerity in return. But if you don't, it's better to have no friends at all than to be surrounded by fake ones. False friendships only drain your health, your spirit, and your life. Even if you don't have real friends to do things together with, don't ever stop doing what brings you a sense of fulfillment in life. You can still choose to become a better version of yourself, like working out alone, enjoying that rush of dopamine, or exploring good food. It doesn't have to be expensive, just something that tastes like happiness. My videos may not get a lot of comments, but the few I have received really warm my heart. I believe through this channel, I can make real friends.